again, we've only got a minute before the break, but I must say this. You mentioned about local government.
Yes.
President Buhari already signed an executive order that gives local governments the power.
If it's not implemented, that executive order is not what the paper.
But how do we know it's not implemented?
The local governments are not getting their funds. They're not getting elections.
All right, so we're going on break now. We'll be right back. I told you it's going to be interesting. If you thought you knew Sowore, you've seen him on other interviews, not on this one. He's going to get a chance to tell you exactly what he's about. Be right back. You come for a minute. Who the hell is calling me? I said to God, I keep saying to my sisters, I'm going to sack all of them. Always call me when I'm on program.
Now for conversations, we'll be right back.
How long have we got? Break. How long does it break?
Less than 4 minutes.
Booms, I'm on air. What's up? I'm on air. I'm on break right now.
Mama K.
You have not remembered it.
Then look online. I don't have their phone number. I've never called them. Look on our look on Eustace on the email. There will be a number for Eustace. Do you understand? The person that Susan has been commuting with. Alright, my darling. Good luck. Okay, my darling. Bye bye.
Now we have questions.
Of course, the place, they'll never let us rest. And I always have to tell my listeners, I get to talk to him first.
They'll hijack.
They'll hijack, eh? They will hijack. The questions I'm getting on my friggin' phone next. Calm yourself down.
No, I won't speak louder.
Yes, please. How long have we got? Because you know I can't
3 minutes.
Can you be back in 3 minutes?
Yes, of course. Just 1 minute.
Okay.
Messages are not dropping in the way they should from WhatsApp.
E-Naira. Same Naira, more possibilities.
Kids, are you ready for an adventure? Let's go on an adventure then, an adventure ride with alphabet and African names. Fun and learning is great for kids, so join me, Auntie Mama, as we explore our African culture with the 26 letters of the alphabet. It's Alphabet Adventure. Learning is great for kids, so join me, Auntie Mama, as we explore our African culture and enjoy learning the alphabet. Learning session for children on Friday at 23 a.m. and 4:23 p.m. Saturday at 10:30 a.m. we have a live session, and I'm also eager to ask you swap questions. I'm just as eager to give away a few prizes too on 99.3 Nigeriainfo, your #1 top station. It's new and it's for you. We'll bring to you another update on how to win 5,000 Naira. Listen to all our shows Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Participate in any of the games and stand a chance to win 5,000 Naira. On Monday, it's 5 in 7, where you get to list 5 things that start with a random alphabet in just 7 seconds. On Wednesday, it's One Shot. We give you questions on basic statistics from around the world, and you attempt the question in just 1 shot. And Thursday, it's time for Previously On. You get to answer questions from the previous show. It's a total package with a different variety. Don't say there's no fun in listening. For more details, visit our social media pages. Coming to you only on 99.3 Nigeriainfo. Lagos, let's talk.
If you get business, now rent money business loan shop also. You don't go pay any money for the first 4 weeks. And once you clear the balance, your next loan will reach 90.
Apartment is so working.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Downfall Conversations, right here
All right.
on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
And we're back, and I'm still talking to Omoyele Sowore. Do you mind me calling you Mr. Revolution? It just sounds really nice and short and easy to remember.
Yes.
Huh?
You know, it's sexy until you get to prison.
He's also got a sense of humor. Right, so you were talking about restructuring, but we have so much to cover. Let's talk power.
Yes.
One of the things that you said you were going to do in your mandate was to increase power generation to something like, I don't know,
24,000 megawatts.
How?
It's to immediately expand using a mix of energy sources. I'm very, very pro renewables, but I also understand that we're still not exactly there yet. So if you rehabilitate all of the turbines working at Kanji Dam, you can increase to almost 500 megawatts more. But I want to focus on solar immediately. We have we may build solar farms that can generate up to 5,000 megawatts.
So you want to do solar?
Yes.
Do you think that's why we are not generating enough power?
We're not generating enough, but our biggest problem is actually distribution. Transmission. And then ultimately distribution.
Right. So
our transmission lines are incapable of even evacuating power, which is sometimes at 7,000 megawatts. So we are only able to transmit about 3,000 to 4,000.
Right. In that case, then government will tell you that's why they've got the Siemens project. Do you not believe in it?
Do you know how long it took for them to even start the Siemens project? And the Siemens project has not even touched transmission yet. Since they started, they've only been able to bring in, I think, two transformers, and they've been celebrating it for 2 weeks now. And I'm sure it's still at the port.
Well, we must celebrate minor wins.
Yes, but don't forget that we had a deal with GE, and they brought in turbines for some gas-fired plants before. And one of those plants did not leave the port because the port where was dropped, I think it's somewhere in Sapele or so, Delta State. They didn't have a bridge that could take it across to where it would be hooked onto the national grid. And by the time they finished building the bridge, I think it was 5 years after, the warranty had expired and they couldn't actually use that turbine. So part of our problem is that we're still dealing with this very archaic way of working on power projects. One of the things I talk about is to look at Egypt, look at Morocco.
Well, that's what Peter Obi talks about as well.
No, he didn't talk about Egypt. But his issue is, let's focus on what I know. It's like going to Egypt to what's it called? The dashboard of a power plant is not the same thing as understanding Egypt. So Morocco has gotten to a level where they are actually selling power to some European countries.
Yeah.
Yes. Because people don't understand that power generation, transmission, and distribution is not limited to providing for your country alone. It's big business. If you have the capacity, you can sell to the entire West African region. And Nigeria used to do that.
Here's the thing.
But I'm not going to do the Father Christmas one where you,
we look after ourselves first. Here's the thing, though. All of these things cost money.
They do.
Right? You want to raise us, I think that's 3 times what we're probably generating at the moment, if not 4 times what we're generating at the moment. How are you going to pay for this?
So many of these projects can pay for themselves. And this is what Nigerian leaders don't talk about. If this country, let me give you Lagos alone. If Lagos had 24 hours electricity, do you know that it immediately means that you can also have 3 shifts of work in Lagos? That is, some people work from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. another group and another overnight. Industries will spring up. Small businesses will start making money and they'll pay taxes. And you know that Nigeria's tax revenue is the lowest on the continent of Africa, if not everywhere. That's our tax to GDP ratio. You understand?
Yeah.
But I know what you're asking for. Like, where do you get the money? Yes. So, do you know that in the case of Siemens, the German government was willing to fund that project for us? And there are a lot of companies out there, there are a lot of funds out there that are willing to support this initial takeoff of this money, because they know that even if they invest, their return on investment will also be a big deal for them. What I won't do is to put our country in a cutthroat situation where you just go and get money, you don't ask what is the interest rate, and the money comes in.
The government knows the interest rate they're paying right now. It's not that they don't. We can't say they don't. They will tell you that they know the interest.
That's what they tell you.
The cost of the loans that they've got right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, what are we borrowing for? You know, we're borrowing to pay salary, we're borrowing to eat.
But you've just told me you're going to have to borrow yourself. Whether we're borrowing to do this, whether we're borrowing to do that, we have to borrow.
The problem with borrowing is that every country in the world borrow money, including the US. The US has a debt clock on 14th Street in New York. We used to sit in front of it because it would tell you how much of it is yours.
Yeah.
So, but our problem is that our debt to GDP is not out of hand. Our problem is debt to revenue. And the reason is that they are stealing amongst themselves 700,000 barrels of oil on a daily basis. Yeah, they just said yesterday, this is Nigeria, a wonderful country, you know, inverse wonder, is that they just found a pipeline that's been stealing crude that has been around for 9 years.
Yes, I saw
9 years. I mean, which country exists in the world where they've been stealing crude from you for 9 years? You can't detect it because it's official. Of course, they own those pipelines. You know, maybe they figured out another one and they would sort of fool the public by saying, "Oh, we just discovered it," and we're all supposed to clap.
Well, now that you mentioned fuel, let's talk fuel subsidy.
Yes.
What's your thoughts?
I'm not removing fuel subsidy because
you're not.
No.
Why not?
Because the only thing that Nigerians get from the Nigerian crude is that little subsidy. What I would remove is the subsidy that the crooks in our system gets. Those people who are importing fake fuel, importing.
But subsidy is costing a lot of money. I mean, even Kenya just removed subsidy.
The subsidy that costs a lot of money is the subsidy of the elite.
Yeah, but Kenya just removed subsidy.
We are not
saying even Kenya is because of the subsidy of the elite.
Have you heard that Kenya produce crude before? I'm not aware that they have crude oil in Kenya. We do.
The fact is they are removing subsidy.
Yeah, because they don't produce crude oil. They don't produce.
So you're saying because we produce,
we should. You see, do you know that a certain amount of barrels of crude is allocated to refining locally every day, and regardless of whether we are refining or not, they are still selling it. And it goes into private pockets. I know you might disagree with me, but you know, I know this.
I'm not here to disagree.
I know these people very well. But let me tell you the gimmick. The gimmick is to make people believe that subsidy is eating up the country. But do you know that kerosene is not subsidized?
Exactly.
Yes. So why are we not benefiting from it? Diesel is not subsidized. Why are we not benefiting from it? Diesel is at 1,000 naira. Sometimes
because the majority of people do not use diesel. The masses.
Who told you?
But the masses are not dependent on diesel.
No.
They are dependent on kerosene and petrol.
No, the masses are dependent on diesel. Most generators that are running even your office here.
Yeah, but that's the offices. Those are private sector.
No.
Diesel is not.
Diesel is massive. You can quote me. It's massively consumed in Nigeria. There are even vehicles.
Yeah. I'm saying to you.
So the point I'm making is that what about kerosene? What about kerosene?
Yes, kerosene is liberalized, right?
Yes. Who is subsidizing kerosene? Nobody. Yeah. It's not. It's been removed from subsidy.
Yeah.
So and the game they play on us all the time is that the moment we remove the subsidy, we will put it aside for social welfare affairs. So what about the ones you got from diesel, from kerosene, from gas, from jet A1 fuel? Why is it that those benefits are not accruing to the people?
Okay.
So it's only that of petrol because it's a game. It's a game. And we are out to end the game because we know the trick. We know them inside out.
Oh my gosh. We're running out of time. I wish this show was there. And you people, you need to calm down. You know I get to talk to my guests first. Messages everywhere. everywhere. I will come to you. Oh, I wish we had more time. Right. One of the things you talked about was minimum wage.
Yes.
Right. You talked about increasing minimum wage
Mhm.
to 100. That's whopping. That's 3 times what it is right now.
Just call it whopping.
Well, it's
I
huge
mean, who
compared to where we are right now.
Who in this country? Let me ask you. Who in this country can live on 30,000 naira?
But that is not
per month?
That is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, if you want to increase minimum wage to 100,000, where is that going to come from?
Have you asked me how much it will cost if we increase minimum wage to by 100,000?
How much it will cost you?
Yeah,
go ahead. Tell
it will
us.
cost the government only about 1.1 trillion, 1.2 trillion naira. That's the maximum cost of it, of the way we want to start it, because the way our minimum wage increase will not happen all across board.
Right.
That is to say, those who are already enjoying maximum wage, we are not going to increase.
Well, of course, the maximum wages will not fall into the minimum wage.
Exactly. So we'll go for, so the most important thing is that we're talking about a living wage here.
Yeah.
An average worker in Nigeria cannot spend 30,000 naira a month. Let me just break it down very quickly for you. Is if you are going from home to work, anywhere you are working, even if your office is next door, you are not spending less than 500 naira now. Yeah. So that already in 30 days has consumed 15,000 naira. You're going to eat. You're going to pay rent. So it's about, it's about the survival.
To be able to pay.
Yes, government earn enough, because our lazy senators and House of Rep members are collecting 14 million naira a month. If you are earning 30,000 naira a month, you have to work for 38 years to earn what a lawmaker in Nigeria is earning a month. That's unfair. Lecturers, that is university professors, all right? Those ones are earning maybe 600,000 naira. The maximum wage of any professor is about 600,000. They have to work for 8 years to earn the salary of a lawmaker. But if you are not talking about the lawmakers, maybe you say they're working too hard, but I don't see them. They're hardly working, right? Think about our very, very lovely officials like this, the attorney, the accountant general of the federation, who just walked away with 150 billion.
Yeah, but let's
billion naira 150. You divide 150 billion naira by how many workers? If you are paying 100,000, how many workers that will pay? That's just one person.
I get it.
Yeah.
But let's move away from that. When you say you are going to be paying the people 100,000.
You make it sound like it's $100,000.
Well, it's 100,000.
I mean, this doesn't even pay. This doesn't even pay. This doesn't even buy recharge card for some of you.
Oh,
yeah.
I promise you, I don't spend more than 10,000 naira a month
on recharge card.
And that's even calling
that's already.
So
that's already, somebody's salary in a month divided into 3.
My point is, let's focus on earning.
That's what I'm saying.
If we can talk about, because we'll get to the point of talking corruption. My gosh, why is we have enough time?
No, wait. Corruption is just this.
We'll talk about corruption after this.
I've discussed with you that our tax rates are low. You understand? I'm not increasing taxes. I'm just ensuring that we collect taxes.
So you're not going to increase taxes, but
no.
You're going to ensure we collect taxes.
Yes, that our tax to GDP ratio is too low. Right. Like if we collect, we'll have a lot.
You're going to get taxes from the masses as well. These same people you're going to give 100.
No, if you give them electricity, you give them roads, they will happily pay taxes. You know that many people want to pay taxes in Nigeria, right? But the government is not interested in collecting taxes. You know why? Because if you collect taxes from people, they will be on your neck or you're behind.
Okay.
But Nigerian government prefer to just get free money. They don't like to be disturbed, because tax brings about representation. Yeah, what used to cause problem in Yoruba land, in Igbo land in the past.
But you do know that
it was because you will see women go and fight because they're made to pay taxes. Like, what are you doing with the taxes?
I get it.
Yes,
but I do have to say that this APC government in Lagos State, especially, one of the things that you mentioned is that you're going to do is to empower small and medium-sized enterprises and all of those things. One of some of the things the issues they complain about is self-taxation and over-taxation. FIRS collects taxes. APC is priding itself on collecting taxes. LIRS is on our next. But anyway, let's move on because the lines are going crazy.
You don't want me to talk about APC and their tax collection scams.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. The other thing you mentioned about was education. I think it is because I had some notes. Let me just look. You talked about education. Talk to me about education very quickly.
Massive investment in education. We've said this, and we have no apology about it. If I had been the president of Nigeria in 2019, Nigerians missed out on that opportunity. There would have been ASU strike today.
Why? What would you have done?
Because as far back as when I was in the university, I knew what the lecturers were asking for. At that time, they were asking for 3 billion naira. The Nigerian government won't pay because they don't believe in education. Now they're asking for about 1.2 trillion naira to be paid in 3. Would you pay
them if you were the president?
Of course, 6 tranches. I can afford that.
Based on because
it's education. You don't play with education.
So just because ASU asked, ASU will get because
no, it's not because ASU asked. ASU is not asking you to pay it into their private account. It's not. They're not going to get an alert from. They're just saying invest in education, expand education opportunities for citizens. Because there are only 1.7 million Nigerian youths going to higher institutions out of 200 million people. That's low.
Does everybody need to be in higher institutions?
They don't have to be, but we have to allow those who want to go there to go there.
What about the argument that what we need to do is invest more in technical colleges, technical institutions that empower? Because not everybody.
That is a World Bank prescription.
No. That is something that happens in other...
What is not technical about me that studied geography and I'm a journalist today?
Yeah, but...
Just obtain education, you can do whatever you want with it.
But what I'm saying is not everybody needs to get a degree.
Yeah.
There are some...
But there are lots of people, let people who want to get degrees. You know what I would do? We can divide the degrees into 2. I'm a big fan of community colleges in the US. They call it associate degree. You might want to just work as an accountant in local government. You don't want to go too far. Get a 2-year degree, know?
Okay.
Yes. So what I would do is convert all the technical, colleges of education, polytechnics, into universities. So that you can go there and get whatever you want. There's no need for polytechnics and colleges of education because anybody...
I'm being told there are so many questions.
Anybody should be able to get a degree from any higher institution in Nigeria. The moment you call it higher, it should go take you to the highest.
Okay, look, I've got okay, where do we start from? Telephones or WhatsApp? Which lifestyle my gonna tell me? Okay, they tell me to start from WhatsApp. Sorry, babes, I'll be answering your calls in a minute. And honestly, you're only gonna get 30 seconds to drop your question. You snooze, you lose. This is your lid that I've got here, Okay. Good afternoon, Radio Diva. Don't you dare call me a diva. I'm a broadcaster. Cecile, good to you. Anyway, I am Mobina from Shita. My question for Mr. Sowore is, when you become the president of Nigeria in 2023, would you be able to resolve the issue of the climate change that is causing flood in some parts of Nigeria? I think you should write them down.
Don't worry.
That was one of my questions. Hello, Cecile. I commend your level of journalism. Thank you. Yele does as well. You won't say it on air. I'm a big fan of Down for Conversations here, but this is my first time to reach out. I'm doing so because you have my president on your show. My question to my president, sir, there are a lot of homeless kids and citizens of Nigeria and are either sleeping under the bridge, and this has made them become miscreants. How would you approach this, sir? And would we still have Nigerians in those countries being without shelter, or in this country being without shelter under your presidency? I love you, sir. My name is Funke from Kuramo. Okay, next question here. The Ifeanyi family led by, wrong one. Right, hello, Sissy. Welcome to our guest. Welcome to, yes, he says, thank you. I am in Lekki. Sowore's manifesto is very beautiful, but I suggest to him to merge with other smaller parties to support Obi to kick out this ruling party. We'll talk about that possible coalition if he's into that later. Next question. Hi, Sowore. Hello. I know activists often get into politics without any track records of achievement. Apart from the activism, what do you have or have you achieved to make you qualified for this #1 seat in Nigeria? I'll read this one and then I'll give you a chance to answer. My question, Mr. Sowore, is there any problem between you and Peter Obi? I am Ben praised. Okay, you got 5 minutes. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
I'm going crazy.
So climate change, flooding in Nigeria. A lot of people don't know that the flooding in Nigeria is not only climate change. We've had an issue with a lake in Cameroon.
That's right.
Since 1983, they came and begged Nigeria, come and figure out how, because we don't have the capability to dam the lake. It breaks when the rainy season comes. Nigeria didn't do anything about it. If Nigeria were serious as far back as 89, we could have by now built a tunnel that would be taking that plenty of water to Lake Chad.
Okay,
Lake Chad
that's what they didn't do, but they can't. So what are we going to do about the climate change that is happening?
Yeah. So the part of the climate change is the reason we are in full terrorism now, because the Lake Chad has dried up to, it's only 10% of the Lake Chad is left. And all those Fulani people that used to go around with the cows used to go there to get water. And
so what will you do about desertification then, which is what you're talking about?
Well, then a part of how we deal with desertification is solar energy.
Okay.
You know, do you know that if we cover so many of those deserts up with solar panels, it will retain water, and we can use it to grow. But you can grow forest in what is now known as deserts.
You're gonna grow a forest. We already have some bees, which is causing us all this problem.
I'm just giving that as one of the examples, you know. But there are clear, because we don't have time, there are clear delineation for how to tackle climate issues, and we just need to be a part of that conversation also globally, because it has to do with lifestyle too. We are consuming. We're not. Some of the candidates say they don't even know what is green energy. They don't know what green, how to green a country. So, but you don't have time. The second question was the second question was about housing.
That's right.
It's part of our program to build massively housing in this country. But
yes, it's in your money.
Yes. So we know how many houses are needed, and we must. It's part of where employment will come for the youth as we are building.
Money.
Yes, Owonikoko, but people are reclaiming rivers and seas right in front of you here and spending billions of dollars, not naira, which could have been used to build a completely new Lagos. You understand? Its priority is understanding.
Lagos is not Nigeria, though.
No, but where do you think the money is coming from? At the end of the day, it's all oil money. Yes.
Okay. What's the other question?
Yes. People saying that we should merge with smaller parties.
Well, we'll talk about that. I want you to hold on to that. We'll talk about that after. Let's answer some calls. Hello. Oh, not same as they say. No.
Good afternoon to you. How's everything, my brother?
Very quickly, 30 seconds. We have lots of people calling. Okay, thank you. Stay listening. You'll get the answer to that later. Hello? Hello? You snooze, you lose. Hello? I can't hear you. You snooze, you lose, people. We don't have time. Hello? Yes, good afternoon. What's your name and where you calling from, please? Ekaite, you got 30 seconds. Go. Your question, please.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ekaite. He will answer. Stay listening. Hello? Hello? Good afternoon. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Joy.
Okay, Joy, go ahead with your question. Thank you very much. Keep listening. Hello? Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this will be calling from Ikeja.
Obi, go ahead. Your question, please.
My brother, honorable program, sir. I'm not the CEO of soldiers. I don't know who are those working.
Okay.
Because you must be present before you begin.
Okay, thank you so much. We're going on break right now. When we come back, Omoyele Sowore, the presidential candidate of the African Congress, will be here to answer all those questions and much more. Stay listening.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Your people will not kill me.
They will be calling this place 6 hours after you've left.
You're telling me.
Yes. No. Okay.
WhatsApp. You want to?
So, okay, ask anybody.
Yeah, there are toilets just anybody further down.
Okay, question on
I have a question. Oh yeah, we've already told. We'll tell them that. What do you have on
They feel my presence. That's so. I don't know if this is
I have
so
my
hot.
phone. Can I take
Okay, yeah.
Sorry. No, this you can keep the top. It's there.
I don't know, we just
Yeah, I'll go down.
we just want to
fuel
know them.
subsidy has been talked about. I just have a question for you.
Yes, security was coming up.
Graduate unemployment.
After you answer those questions, but they will not let us speak, I'm going to come to security and then I'll talk about corruption.
Yeah.
So then we will allow them to
Jump in.
Yeah.
You're well done, man.
My pleasure.
She was the person I was with, the last person I was with before I was arrested.
Yes.
We were on a show.
Yes, we want
With,
the advocate.
yes, the advocate.
With the advocate. We never have enough for the time. Wow, they really should have removed a lot of the adverts we have today. They're eating into my time. Tell what to them, I'm not happy with them today. I need this time back. So many fucking adverts.
I took part in robbery to raise money for my pregnant wife. Find out this later. It's not better
That's too
roses
much.
out there. FG1's young doctors. A sneak peek into the stories. All comes under view on the Days Today.
Do I get your contact information ready? Because people are going to ask you contact information.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you taking my video, young man? I'm going to charge you for image rights, and there's my lawyer right now.
Yes. On standby. Do you want to do that phone number with Babala so we can give them for public consumption?
Yeah. Then the Twitter handle.
For Babala.
The Twitter handle, IG
For the
handle.
party. Yeah.
And you can send it.
On Instagram.
Yeah, I know it.
On Instagram, Daily Show. On Instagram, Daily Show.
Yeah.
Okay, let me check more because it's going through all of that.
Yeah.
They will keep calling on the conditions apply.
Closer to you than ever. Join the conversation online all over the world. Be part of the Info family on our user-friendly mobile app and website for a better and improved listening.
I'm going to take as many as we can. We don't answer questions just because I can't see it here. Just cut and paste all of them to where I can see it. Whoever question gets to. It will also drive them to AFC's traffic, the site as well. So you can get all of them done there. Are we back?
And we have just 2 minutes before the meeting. Bro, please.
Yale, come and sponsor my show.
Oh, yeah.
It is frustrating. No time. Not enough time.
Welcome back to Downfall Conversations, right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Okay, we're back. We really don't have time. Honestly, we don't have time. Right, okay. Yele, you heard some of those questions before we went on break. You've got 5 minutes to answer as many as you can.
Well, somebody was asking me a question about corruption.
That's right.
So what would I do to get back all the money that was
all the money, but I would like to hold that till when we talk about corruption.
I think some of that question was a guy asking about my food soldiers.
That's
where are
right.
they?
Where are you?
They're all over the place, but we just started campaigning proper, and we're going to have more people out there. In this election season, we are contesting against the money bags. Apart from myself, if there are 4 candidates who are former governors who spent 8 years as former governors, and you know how padded these guys are.
Yeah.
I'm the only candidate until one of them joined me recently that raises money on a daily basis, crowdfunded.
Yeah,
So
but you can't be the only one because I understand.
I'm saying on it publicly.
Yeah.
Yes, I say until one joined me because I started this 2019
But
crowdfunding.
Obedience are also raising money.
That's why I said they just joined.
They just
yes.
Okay, what have I got here? Right, let me look at this question. There we go. So Gekola from Ilopeju, put us to congratulate, please. Who owns the prepaid meters from the discount? That's you can ask your supplier that. Right, your guest in the studio is absolutely right on diesel. Nigerian economy is run on diesel. Higher the prices of diesel, higher the cost of products and higher services.
Absolutely.
Many businesses have shut shop of late because of high cost of diesel.
Yeah.
In some countries like India, petrol is sold at higher prices so as to subsidize diesel because of its mass consumption. So what you're saying is sell petrol at a higher rate. Oh, guess who's here? Yvonne.
Mm-hmm.
It's news time. See what I mean? This is what they do to me.
It's 2 o'clock.
The headline news on 99.3
Sure.
Nigeria.
I mean,
readiness to address security situation confronting Nigeria. Federal government declares Monday a public holiday to celebrate Eid al-Mulud. Appeal courts will today rule on ASU's stay of execution order. Senate committee gives Code of Conduct Bureau 2 weeks to settle internal crisis, while Senate confirms 19 resident electoral commissioners for INEC. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu tasks Guild of Corporate Online Publishers to curb fake news. House of Reps approve 8.4 trillion naira borrowing and 6.3 trillion naira debt service. Bola Tinubu returns to Nigeria after 12 days away. MC Oluoma introduces barcode to checkmate criminal activities among bus drivers in Lagos. Veteran Hollywood actor Kenneth Okonkwo explains Peter Obi's 7-point agenda. Aggrieved PDP governor reports Atiku to party board of trustees lifts these conditions. PDP appoints directors for Atiku's campaign committee. Rivers Assembly passes motion to de-recognize Umehia as a former governor. Federal government says Ethiopia's suspension of visa on arrival to curtail insecurity. On the front in Thailand, mourns as ex-policeman kill at least 37 people in childcare center. FBI said to charge President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, with tax crimes. U.S. President Biden says risk of Armageddon highest since Cuban Missile of 1962. In sports, Super Eagles slipped to 32nd position in latest FIFA ranking. And those are the headlines this hour. This is a Dance Conversation with Riti Bakari Yusuf. I'm Yvonne Okafu. You're listening to 99.3 Nigeriainfo. Good afternoon.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info, your mic is always on. Let's talk.
Right, so before I go back to the cause, because we're literally in the last 20 odd minutes or so, let's talk security.
yes.
And let's talk corruption. Which one do you want to talk about first?
We can do
Go ahead, security.
Yes. People must understand.
What is your solution for
Yes.
security?
The solution is to just break it into 3 solutions.
Tell us.
The immediate one is to do whatever we can right now to stop the bleeding. And I have said, I'll repeat here, that if it requires bringing in mercenaries into Nigeria, I will do it.
That sounds scary.
It is scary, but you know what? The Nigerian security system has also become mercenary to the elites and greed. Yes.
When you say that's right, that's a huge accusation.
It is. I'm a presidential candidate. I can defend it anywhere.
Defend it.
That they're corrupt.
What you've just said.
That they're corrupt, and that they will do anything for money, to the point that even if it's not in the interest of the country, they will do it. we found policemen, soldiers who are working with Boko Haram. You know, some of them even wrote a joint letter recently that was published that they have already started taking to crime because they are underpaid and that they are
Is that a good enough excuse though?
It's not a good enough, but it's clear that they're incapable of solving the problem right now. And we need to solve that problem. Our citizens are more important than our national pride. Because if we are not careful, there will be no nation to be proud of. If bandits, terrorists, I don't even know why you're calling we separate bandits from terrorists. Anyway, they're all doing the same job.
Yeah.
And doing a damn good job at decimating the country.
So you said 3.
Yes.
Right.
So the second aspect is, of course, to start building a security system, put in place a security system now that will be able to tackle and foresee some of these threats that was coming in the future. And it involves training, proper training. It involves remuneration. It involves troop rotation on time because a lot of troops have been fighting for 5 years now. You keep them in the first place, they're atrophied. It involves, gathering intelligence, analyzing them, and understanding what threats we're faced with. A lot of people think that our security threats are only physical, but it's national security threats. You're talking about just now how much crude is stolen on a daily basis.
So
those are national security issues.
Yes.
And there's a homeland here that needs to be taken care of. Where that comes into play is who are Nigerian citizens living on Nigerian soil today. You don't even know them.
Right.
Yes.
So you're talking immigration.
Yes. So part of it. But the final one, before I forget, or before we forget, is ensuring that there's economic security for people in this country. Right. You don't put youth to work, you're deceiving yourself. All those 20 million kids, according to UNESCO, who are not in school, you better be preparing for their prison uniforms in the future if you don't send them to school. And if you don't pay people, you don't pay pensioners, you don't have in place how to protect, like somebody was asking about fiscally challenged people.
That's right.
How to
That was
protect.
The other question. Yes. What are you going to do?
Yes. Those ones, I don't like to call them fiscally challenged people because the so-called fiscally challenged people in Nigeria are even doing better at the Olympics than the non-fiscally challenged Nigerians. Anyway, they're the ones doing us proud. But it's a range of support system for them. It's part of the social security that I'm talking about.
Right.
Like you walk around in this country, even in Lagos, where they pride themselves as having public buses, you don't have systems in place to even help someone using a wheelchair to get on a bus. You don't have in any federal office that I've come to in this country. I've been to a lot of federal offices in Abuja. How a physically challenged person, a wheelchair-bound person, can even get in an office except 5 people carry them. So you don't have scholarship for them. You don't have special schools for them. It's not until recently that we even start translating our public news through for people who might have hearing disabilities. So there has to be a national policy that makes life easy for these populations because they are huge. They are huge. I hate to only use them when there are elections. You go and post with pictures for them, you will suddenly realize that they're there. As soon as the elections are over, nobody talks about them. You cannot do it by doing giveaways. There has to be national policy for them. And I don't see that yet on a scale that I expect, because that's why I say they're special population, because a lot of people.
Parastatal that looks.
It's not a paras. It's not.
Which means there must be a policy.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a. It's not a. The fact that we're even using a parastatal shows that we don't think that they are part of society. It's just what I say about ministry of
arms of government.
No, it's just like I'm saying when I go crazy when people say Ministry of Women Affairs, and everybody's like clapping. I was like, where is the Ministry of Man Affairs? It's discrimination.
That's a whole different debate.
Exactly.
You're trying to trigger me. Yeah. That's a whole different
debate. So let's be serious.
Let's talk about corruption.
Yes. So corruption. Yeah. I don't even know where to start. But
how are you
going my first priority with regards to corruption is to prevent it. Because we have learned a big lesson that the moment people take, technology is a big deal out of it. It's something even as important as blockchain technology can help us prevent corruption.
How?
You see, our procurement contracting system in this country is still long.
Procurement already though.
Who is using it?
Are you sure they're not using it?
They're not. They are circumventing it. But that's
that's different.
Yes. No, I'm saying is that
people. Process.
And if you are saying e-procurement is not enough if you only create a form on a computer, fill it and it goes to the person. No. I'm saying where corruption happens is not the paper. It is where the payments are made, you know, and you must have a means or trigger that says if a minister has just approved certain amount of money and is traveling through the pipeline, we can stop it. I use an example that I used to carry a credit card for a company I work for, Catholic Charities in the US. If you buy anything more than $15, if you buy fuel, the credit card will be declined. Because they don't want to get to a point where they just
right? So
even your vehicle you are driving, if you go more than 60 miles per hour,
very micro level.
no, they're not micro.
About the whole
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that these things are important. I'm just giving you small examples of how you can prevent corruption. You know, I'm saying.
Do you really believe you can prevent corruption?
Oh, absolutely. I've done it as an individual.
To what percentage?
Or to the barest minimum. I've done it as an individual. I started a website 2006, and it went after almost every corrupt person at one time or the other. I was able to prevent corruption just by proactively publishing a lot of things that are in the pipeline that would have cost Nigeria millions of dollars, if not billions. I did it to the point that Nigeria that don't used to jail people were jailing people based on reports that I did. You understand? I know they hated me for it, but if I could do it on the laptop, you can imagine if I'm president of Nigeria. I'm not saying the kind of president that doesn't know how to use computers, because part of our problem is just we have too many analog people on the horizon. Yeah.
So is it? Look, I had Peter Obi sit there.
That's
the exact same seat where you were at.
Was that done on purpose?
That's the special chair for special people.
Who is taller?
I say nothing.
Okay.
Right. So here's the thing. I had Peter Obi sit there, and he's been governor. He did 2 terms as governor of Anambra State.
Yeah.
And he said exactly the same thing, that he was able to stop corruption because, of course, if the top is not rotten, the bottom can't be.
It's not enough.
He showed how he was able to implement it because he was the chief security officer of a state. You haven't been that, even though you've done this example. And I said to him at the time, the state is different to the whole country.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to you, you haven't been governor of the state, so you haven't tested your ideas or your initiative. And you think it's going to work across the country?
Of course. I've never been governor before.
Yeah.
But I've used my own personal experience to fight corruption on a global scale.
Okay.
I was detecting homes, bought by Nigerian governors or government officials that are in millions of dollars.
Okay.
Detecting them on my own, making them public to the extent that some of them were caught and some of them were made to return those money. The US had used my report to recover money before they eventually came back to Nigeria. So I'm not just making up these stories. These are things you can verify. Corruption can happen at any level, at the top, at the lowest. In fact, it is known in Abuja that the people they call permanent secretaries are more deadly corruption-wise than even ministers.
Yeah.
In fact, it is not until they show you how to steal, it is then that as a minister, you get enough to steal. So, what I'm saying that if an individual like myself, could have put in place an initiative that has been fighting corruption now for about 16 to 20 years of my life. I started fighting corruption when I was in the university.
Okay.
How will it be difficult for me as president to know how to trace money, track money, and ensure that they don't leave the country before we get them back? Because the moment they leave is difficult. Then let me tell you one thing, and because people say this all the time, why bother if people have already stolen money? Yes,
well, I don't say that. But
yeah, go ahead. I will bother because we are still getting alerts from Abacha, and Abacha died in 1998.
Yeah, but there's look, we're not even going to talk about that because
no.
Some will tell you that Abacha loot was not so much stealing; they were put away. However,
how can somebody even say that?
You mentioned Abuja.
Yeah,
I think it's a good opportunity for us to discuss. You mentioned one of the things you mentioned was about the stealing that's going on in Abuja and everything. Do you think Abuja as the capital is a drain on our resources?
No, I think what is a drain on our resources is that we still maintain this huge bureaucracy of governance. I want to reduce that I want to make government more compact and more efficient and less expensive. And one of my proposals is to get rid of the Nigerian Senate. If we can get to...
You want to get rid of the Senate?
Yes.
Yet you want a presidential system. You've said on this show.
No, you can have a presidential system of government that has a unicameral legislative system.
Right.
They have that in South Korea.
Right.
And recently they also got rid of their Senate in Senegal. So it's nothing new. It's nothing new.
So if you're not going to get rid of Abuja, you like Abuja, you agree that Abuja should stay as...
It's the capital, but what we can do is to reduce the number of people who are...
That same capital has cost us some close to 400 billion in the 40 years or so that it's been created.
Yes. If we, until such a time that
Imagine what could be done with that money.
No, please, I agree with you. What I'm saying is that we'll get to a point where physical offices will be eliminated, but it's not going to happen overnight. You know, I do it. Yes.
Okay. Apparently, I've got to go. I need to pick up calls and answer. This is crazy. We don't have much time left. Gosh. And I still haven't talked to you about what happened, about the coalition. Good afternoon. What's your name? Quickly. 10 seconds. Ahmed, put your question through, please.
Thank you. How are you? Good afternoon, sir. Thank you.
We need questions. You've got 10 seconds. Quickly. We will be talking about that after. Stay listening. Thank you so much. Hello? You snooze, you lose. Hello? Good afternoon. What time are you calling from? Kingsley, go ahead. Put your question through, please. The man's name is Omoyele Sowore. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. He's heard you. Hello. Good afternoon. What's your name, please? Okay. Okay. Like, we gotta hurry up with this prayer. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Comrade. You've got 10 seconds. Oh yeah, give. Koboko, your line is gone. I don't have the time, unfortunately. Koboko. Sorry, you snooze, you lose. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from, please? Right, Shegun, go ahead. You have 10 seconds. Go ahead. Okay. Restructuring and ethnic problems, right. Any more calls? Hello, are you there? Good afternoon. Mr. Frank, go ahead. Give your question, please. You've got 10 seconds. Yeah, go ahead. I can't hear you. Yes, now. Okay, you want 200 naira per dollar? Is it possible? Okay. Thank you so much. We're gonna answer one last call and then I'm gonna give Sowore a chance to answer your question. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
Okay.
Go ahead, Sam. You have one question or one? Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 What's the question, please? I'm literally running out of time. We really don't have time. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay. There you go. We start back forward. Go ahead. Over to you. You've got. You actually have 3 minutes.
Okay. There was never a time I said it was subsidy today. Okay. I said I'm not removing what doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
The subsidy they have is the subsidy of the elite. Okay. So he's wrong. It's also wrong to say that I joined the ruling party to.
You were not a member of APC?
I was never a member of APC. I've never joined a political party before in 2018. I voted for the first time in my life in 2019.
Okay.
So, right. But I want to say that the biggest enemy of the Jonathan regime was Jonathan himself and his ministers. And everybody knows.
No. Okay, we can do that. You need to answer more questions.
Yes. So
the
other question is restructuring and ethnicity. I've said it. All the ethnic groups need to go to a table where the restructuring they're advocating for can happen.
Okay.
So it's not something that can be done by reform or modification of a constitution that had no legitimacy in the first place. The 1999 constitution is a fraudulent document imposed on the Nigerian people by the Nigerian army or military. It's unacceptable.
Okay.
Somebody was asking if we can make the dollar 200 to.
Well, he said, is it possible?
It's possible, but yes, we can refine that.
You think it's possible to make it $200 to
we must, if we start with all these policies that we're going to
make promises.
I'm not making promises. I'm telling you possibilities. Okay. You understand that if you start producing the way I described to you with small businesses, big businesses, all those companies that run to Ghana, Michelin and the rest of them will be back in Nigeria if you have electricity.
What would you say you can bring it down to? We're currently at about 730, 740. We vacillate between.
So, one of the things that needs to be done immediately is to get rid of the multiple rates, the fraudulent multiple rates at the CBN, so that nobody has a right to sell dollar at 350. I mean, buy at 350 and go and sell at 730. That should be completely. Let's have one official rate that controls even what goes on in the black market.
Okay.
The other question that somebody asked, they asked this.
He lives in Jakonde.
Yes.
He's literally living in the.
We talked about housing. We talked about housing. Yeah. One day someone drove me to Banana Island, and I was disappointed that that's the place they call Banana Island because it's like public housing for me in the US, right? 2 hours of rain, that place is flooded. I'm telling you.
I can't even speak.
Exactly. So I'm like, so this is what they call projects in the year.
But that's not the point.
Yes.
The point of the matter is there are Nigerians who are living.
Yeah, because we are not building houses for them.
Right. So Banana Island to you might be the ghetto. That is the dream for many Nigerians.
That's because they've never seen public housing before.
Yeah, but through Larry, we have public housing now.
How many?
Jakonde built public housing.
That was the last time public housing was built.
So, are you going
so I'm saying is that building a bunch of, overpriced concrete in front of a lagoon is not what is going to solve public housing. That place should be public houses.
Okay.
Now,
before we go, because my guy here, I know, you see when she sits like that, she's about to throw me off there. So, here's the thing. Now, in all honesty, that gentleman that called from Jakonde, he doesn't care where you build the houses. He just wants a home.
Exactly.
And I think you and I were agreed on that.
Yes.
Here's the thing. When we started this, you did say, I am going to be the next president.
Of Nigeria, yes.
Of Nigeria.
Yes.
What if you don't win?
I cannot imagine a situation where the brightest and the best and the finest will not win the next election.
But what if you don't win?
I'm not calculating not to win, but you see, what is important is that these ideas are out there, and the moment they win, we win. And I'm not speaking philosophically. I think Nigeria and young people, old people, strong and weak, should understand that we've wasted too much of our time.
Would you be interested in a coalition?
If the coalition carries our kind of ideas, Others
Which of the
at
parties?
liberty.
Which of the parties would
Any
you
party,
partner? Which one?
No, I could not and I cannot put myself in a position where I'll be boxed into saying that the party is the party I will join, because I have not seen any of these parties with the kind of ideologies that can attract our attention.
Okay, here's something. Right, for the first time since we'll be having this conversation,
go ahead.
I heard your American accent.
Ah.
Now, you have, and you've always teased me about my British accent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I grew up there. Yeah. Here's the thing. You have a green card.
Yes.
You could choose to live in America.
If I want to.
Here you are.
Yes.
What brought you back?
I was just, I lived 20 years in America. And I told myself that, yes, a beautiful place. People made it beautiful,
mm-hmm.
made it livable,
mm-hmm.
made it a country that's, all encompassing, even though we don't want to talk about inadequacies of the American society
mm-hmm.
here. And that our country, Nigeria, is probably the best place to live if we get it right.
So you came to make it
So
better.
I came back to make it better.
Excellent.
And now my green card is even not useful to me anymore. Right. Yeah, because I've been out of status.
Okay.
For some 3 years now.
So now here we die, as they say.
But it's always been like that for me.
Final question before we are thrown off air.
Yes.
What keeps you up at night?
Ah, man, everything.
One. That's that key thing about Nigeria that keeps you up at night.
Oh man, I just kind of think like, how could we have such vibrant people that are led by dumb people? I'm sorry to use the word dumb because it has, disability connotations.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So it drives me crazy that we can get it right when we have enough people who can make it right. Yeah. So that sometimes makes me feel miserable at night, and it's depressing. Yeah.
Right. Now, have I got time to see my Oga? As you people, it's not me, don't blame you. It is my Oga that is throwing us off. Omoyele Sowore, you've got to come back because you've got a whole 5 months.
Absolutely.
Are you prepared?
Yeah.
How prepared are you?
I'm always prepared. I came prepared from the time.
You've got 5 months. Can you afford to keep going?
I mean, I did more.
Have you raised enough money?
I spent more than 5 months doing this in 2018, 2019. I only didn't campaign. I campaigned in 35 states in Nigeria.
Right.
And I campaigned in about 7 countries abroad, including 4 in Canada, about 7 cities in the US, 4 cities in Australia, South Africa, Ghana. I went to Spain, Italy, Germany. There's nowhere where there are Nigerians that didn't get trained in 2018.
Right.
I was practically like flying red eye, as they say in the US. It's like you wake up on one side of the world, before you know it, you are back to another part of the world.
Okay,
and back in Nigeria.
We have to go to say.
Thank you.